Hello and welcome to Part 3 of the Ontario Athletic Therapists Association's online presentation series on regulation. The OATA is doing a number of these presentations to keep our members informed on what regulation is all about, what it means for you, and what you need to do to ensure you complete your application before the April 1st deadline. This week, we will be addressing the supporting documents required for the application process. If you are eligible for grandparenting, hopefully by now you have at the very least started, if not completed, the application form, including the jurisprudence e-module. If you have, your focus now should be on the remaining supporting documents. This includes an original CPIC criminal record check, professional liability insurance certificate, 3 letters of reference, a copy of proof of employment in the profession of kinesiology from each employer, a copy of proof of kinesiology experience as a self-employed practitioner, a copy of a current chronologically formatted resume, if applicable, a copy of the academic assessment form and proof of any name change, and a letter of good standing if you are currently registered with another regulatory body in Ontario or elsewhere, and your original academic transcripts. To protect the public, the college strives to admit only applicants of good character who will practice kinesiology in compliance with the laws of Ontario with decency and integrity. All applicants are required to provide a valid original Canadian Police Information Centre criminal record check as one of the requirements of registration. The college requires a name-based criminal record check only. Not required is the vulnerable sector check. Applicants are responsible for ensuring they request the correct type of criminal record check and for taking into account the time it will take to process their request. The CPIC check is valid for 6 months from the date of issue. Applicants must ensure that the CPIC search is conducted under all of their previous names, including any maiden names, and under your current name. An applicant who is approved for registration must indicate that they will comply with the college's requirement regarding professional liability insurance. Within 30 days of receiving confirmation of registration, the applicant is required to provide the college with a copy of their certificate which confirms the purchase of the insurance for 2016 and includes the carrier's name, the policy number, and expiry date. Professional liability coverage can be obtained individually through a professional association or an employer. The college does not endorse any particular company. The PLI policies provided by the OATA and CATA qualified for CKO registration. Applicants are also required to submit a chronological resume which includes their employment history with start and finish dates for each listed position. They must also include the month and the year that each position began and ended. As President Drew Laskowski mentioned in one of his recent President's video messages, LinkedIn can automatically sort and restructure your resume chronologically. Applicants must submit 3 letters of reference from qualified referees to the college. The college has developed a template letter that applicants should forward to their referees to be completed on their behalf. This is available on the CKO website as well as the OATA's regulation portal. So who may qualify as a referee? Well, there are 4 options. Number 1, any member of a regulated health profession who has a good understanding of the practice of kinesiology and who has had the opportunity to work with the applicant, is familiar with his or her current work and with his or her professional history. Number 2, a person who is a member of the College of Kinesiologists of Ontario or who is eligible to become a member of the college and has initiated an application. Number 3, a senior human resource representative who is knowledgeable about the applicant's work history with the company, who has reviewed the personnel records and performance reports of the applicant and is able to ascertain from the applicant's job description and performance reports as well as supervisor's reports that the applicant has worked within the scope of practice of kinesiology. Number 4, faculty members who are knowledgeable about the applicant's academic, including research, and volunteer history at the respective university, and who has reviewed the applicant's academic records and transcripts. Referees must also satisfy the following requirements. They must be a regulated practitioner with at least 3 years of experience, must be a kinesiologist who is either a member of the College of Kinesiologists of Ontario or has applied for registration through the grandparenting route and been deemed eligible for registration, must indicate the time they have known the applicant and their relationship to the applicant, and must provide their own contact details. If the referee is a member of another regulated health profession, they must provide their registration information from the regulatory body to which they belong.
Applicants must provide proof of experience that indicates the length of each of their periods of employment by submitting the following documents: job descriptions, employer contact information, and a signed letter from the employer indicating the date of commencement and termination of employment, the hours worked per week, month, employment period, and confirmation that the duties and responsibilities outlined in the job description have been performed by the applicant during the period of employment. Applicants who submit proof of experience indicating their periods of work as an independent practitioner must provide sufficient information for the college to determine if the applicant has practiced within this kinesiology scope of practice and has met the requirements for experience and number of hours. Personal information such as rates charged for services and client information is kept strictly confidential and reviewed only by staff of the college. Documentary evidence may include business registration information, municipal registration information, income tax and financial statements, or signed service contracts, specifically the statement of work or the service level agreement with proof that services were delivered, such as detailed invoices or proof of payment or any other evidence of a similar nature that demonstrates substantial kinesiology experience in Canada. For purposes of the application, practicing athletic therapy qualifies as practicing within the scope of practice of kinesiology. So if your referees or other documentation refers to the practice of athletic therapy rather than kinesiology, that's fine and will be accepted. If an applicant's name is different from the name on your documentation, the applicant must enclose a copy of their change of name certificate, marriage certificate, or other evidence of legal name change. It is considered professional misconduct if applicants practice under any other name other than the one they have registered with the college. The name that appears on the public register must be the name that the practitioner uses when they provide health care. You may also need a letter of good standing to be completed by each regulatory body with which you were previously or are currently licensed or registered with to practice any profession. Applicants do not need to submit a letter of standing from professional associations such as the OATA, CSEP, CATA, or OATA. The letter must be mailed to the college and it should include the registration or license number, date of registration, and current standing. It must also detail whether the applicant has been or is now suspended or being investigated or disciplined. You must also submit evidence of successful completion of a 4-year bachelor program in kinesiology. For graduates of bachelor programs in kinesiology at an Ontario university, applicants for registration must ensure that their official final transcript of academic record has been submitted to the college. These requirements are the same for graduates of bachelor programs in kinesiology at a Canadian university outside of Ontario. However, you will also need to submit an academic assessment form along with course descriptions or other evidence, e.g. your syllabus. For graduates of a substantially equivalent program, i.e. not a kinesiology degree, inside Canada, applicants for registration must ensure that their official final transcript of academic record has been submitted to the college. The official final transcript again must be submitted directly to the college from the academic institution, and applicants must also submit an academic assessment form along with course descriptions or other evidence, i.e. your syllabus. For graduates of kinesiology or equivalent programs outside of Canada, applicants must have their academic qualifications verified by a college-approved credentialing agency. The credentialing agency will attest to the authenticity of the documents reviewed and prepare a course-by-course evaluation report as required. All documents must be submitted to the credentialing agency by the applicant in accordance with the agency's required documents procedure. The applicant is responsible for the cost of obtaining the report. The college requires a course-by-course assessment conducted by one of the following college-approved credentialing agencies: World Education Services, International Credentials Assessment Services of Canada, or International Credential Evaluation Service. Following a review of the documents submitted by the applicant, the credentialing agency will send an evaluation report to the college and the applicant. Evaluation reports prepared by other organizations not approved by the college will be reviewed on an individual basis and may be accepted as an alternative if approved by the registrar. Applicants must also submit an academic assessment form along with course descriptions or other evidence, i.e. your syllabus.
The application package and supporting documents must be delivered by post or courier and must be clearly labeled with the applicant's name. The envelope should be addressed to Registration Department, College of Kinesiologists of Ontario, 160 Bloor Street East, Suite 1402, Toronto, Ontario, M4W1B9, Canada. Applicants cannot send the application package or supporting documents via email, as the college will not accept supporting documents that are sent by email to the CKO's general mailbox or any other staff at the college. Applicants should use only one method of delivery to send the required documents to the college. Duplicate methods of delivery of the same documents will cause delays in the processing of the application. The college will file documents from various academic and language testing institutions should they arrive ahead of an applicant's online form and other supporting documents. If documents are in a language other than English or French, applicants must arrange to have these documents translated at their own cost before they submit them to the CKO. Before we conclude this week's webinar, let's take a look at some of the most frequent questions that have come in this week from members. Number 1. What happens if I don't register with the CKO? We have tried to make it clear that applying to join the CKO is not mandatory. Not registering with the CKO does not mean you will lose your athletic therapist AT designation. You can continue to practice as you practice now. However, if and when an AT specialty or an AT class of members is created, use of the AT designation is likely to be restricted to CKO registrants who are members of the specialty or class of members. Also, if you decide to apply to the college at a later date, you will be required to pass the CKO's entry to practice exam and pay the $400 exam fee. Question 2. If I'm an RMT, do I need to be in 2 colleges? Again, at this time, it's up to the individual ATs who are already registered with another college to determine what course of action is in their best interests. You have 3 options. Number 1, register with both your existing college and the CKO, which is entirely legal. Number 2, drop the registration with your existing college and join the CKO. Or number 3, maintain your existing registration and not join the CKO. It really depends on each individual's practice realities in terms of access to controlled acts, billing privileges, employment requirements, etc. Question 3. Does this benefit ATs who are working full-time only? Registration with the CKO renders benefits to athletic therapists regardless of their employment status. It is up to each individual to determine whether registration with the CKO is a net benefit to them from a professional, financial, e.g. billings, employment, or marketing perspective. The OATA has circulated its top 10 reasons for regulation document, and the OATA president, Drew Laskowski, recently outlined additional benefits in one of his latest President's Message videos. Question 4. Do I bill as an AT or a KIN? One can bill either as an AT or a registered kinesiologist, but obviously not for the same patient. The OATA recommends that ATs bill as ATs for those extended health benefits insurers that cover athletic therapists in order that the profession not lose those billing privileges, and bill as a registered kinesiologist in situations where kinesiology is covered and athletic therapy isn't.
Please remember to inform the OATA when you have submitted your application for registration by sending an email to oatamembership@gmail.com. This allows us to track the number of ATs applying to the CKO and to apply the $150 discount for your 2017 OATA membership dues. Thank you for watching Part 3 of our OATA Regulation webinar series. Be sure to keep an eye on the OATA Regulation Portal webpage and your email for more information forthcoming about the regulation process. If you have any questions, please review our FAQ document that is being continuously updated as more questions are received from members. If that document doesn't sufficiently answer your questions, you can send them to oatamembership@gmail.com.